Hey, what's up, collective? I am Unconventional Jack, and welcome to my altar. Um, I got my notes. I'm not gonna reach for them unless I really need them. But this is the week of love, okay, in America because Valentine's Day is sometime this week. If I'm not mistaken, it could be this weekend. I'm not really sure. But anyway, happy Monday. I hope everybody starts their week off high vibrational, okay, and in authenticity and in truth. Okay. I don't really celebrate Valentine's Day. I just had a birthday um, that just passed and I celebrated this weekend. I don't really celebrate myself like that, but I just felt compelled to do it because people celebrate me. And I enjoyed myself. So, because of this week being a celebratory week, I decided to dedicate this week to love. So my first message is, why does black love keep bleeding? And see, what made me address this topic is I was watching a YouTube shorts or something like that, and this lady, she was ranting. This man got this video and he stitched it. He was talking about the woman, you know, I guess doing too much, and was saying she really wasn't making all that, she really wasn't making enough money and all that stuff like that. It was exhausting to me to watch. But listening to the woman, I felt like it was easy for me to side with her because it was a shared experience, you see. And so I was just so happy to be reading the comment section, and there was this guy. Oh, she was hooting and she was hollering, but she was tired. All of that came from the pit of her belly, came the issues of her life. So who are we to say she's a liar? You know what I'm saying? But my thing was this: when that man said, when I read this from this man, and it was something so simple, and he said, "Well, we tired of you too, sister." And I was like, because I know some sisters. I know some women who ain't got no shame because they won't take no blame. Now, let me polarize that. I know men who don't take shame either because they will not accept the blame. They run. Oh, very, very avoidant. So I sat with that and I was like, yeah, this black love need to be discussed because statistically, if you go and look at what's being said statistically about black love, oh, it is trash. It's yuck. Pineapples. It's, disgusting. Undesirable. Don't want it. Get it from in front of me. Type of shit. You know what I mean? So why does black love bleed? Why does it keep bleeding? It's an ongoing wound, ongoing flow of blood. You can patch it up and but it just bleeds, it bleeds. And as she was pointing, as she was hooting and hollering and ranting in her video, when that man said what he said, when he said, "I'm tired of you too, sister," you know what I saw? I saw that thumb pointing back at the woman, because in this earthly realm, this is a dual reality, baby. If there's a up, there's a down. If there's a left, there's a right. Right? If there's the sun, there's the moon. If there's daylight, there's darkness. This is a world of duality. So we have to learn how to walk in duality. I'm hearing that song, "Love in Marriage, Love in Marriage." This I tell you, brother, you can't have one without the other. Love in marriage. So with that being said, you can't really too tough point out the distortion in the masculine energy unless you're pointing out you see what I'm saying? You got to consider the feminine energy too. Because even though they both stand independently, they still have to be one. Okay? So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the distortion. And this is what, so I've created this deck called the Strongman Oracle deck. This is my Strongman Oracle deck. My Strongman Oracle kit here. And it's the things that grip you. Dark Night of the Soul. And this deck requires you to be present for truth, not comfort, okay? It cuts through illusions and it snatches the mask off. Okay, so like I said, this is not a deliverance deck. And it's not a comfort deck. I mean, if you want to say it delivered you, then you can say whatever you want to say. I don't look at it as a deliverance deck. This deck is a spiritual hitman. So be present. Be present in your awakening. Because a lot of people like to spiritually bypass and be avoidant and not look at the thing that hurt you, and it happened at a child age. It could have been like childhood trauma. A lot of people don't like to address that, but see, that's childhood trauma plays a part in how you love in your adulthood. You know what I'm saying? It plays a part in how you love in marriage and how you love in relationships. So let's get started. So what I have is three to four things going on here. I got burning and releasing for this deck, and let's start there. Why does black love keep bleeding? Nope. This is going to go last. So what's the masculine distortion? What's the feminine distortion? And what is the shared wound between the two, masculine and the feminine energy? So what I have is for the masculine distortion, and this card comes from the death realm. And this is an energy that the masculine men, they need to master. This is the ultimate thing that the men need to master. This is the ultimate thing that the men, the distorted masculine, need to conquer before they can even enter into any relationship outside of themselves. You understand what I'm saying? This card is of the death realm. You've been called to face the bone deep trauma. This number breaks down to a number 2. It breaks down to a 11. And 11 breaks down to which makes it just a major, a number 2 with a magnifying glass over it. Okay? So you definitely have to find the balance in duality. And you have to do it through facing the bone deep trauma, distorted men energy. Why black love keeps bleeding. The core wound of this bone deep trauma is pain stored in the body. Pain stored in the body. Distorted masculines, they have so many blockages. So many blockages. When they enter relationships with women see them, but they accept it for whatever reason. They don't hold men accountable for the things that they have not healed, for the things that distorted women don't hold men accountable for the things that they need to be holding them accountable for. Let me just say that. So this wound sits in your bones because you buried hurt that must be unearthed. So distorted masculines, the thing that they need to face is like a suitcase that they put or a journal that's under lock and key. They buried it. They don't face it. But yet, they walk around in unhealed energy. Okay? So, what's needed to be known here is healing is escalation. Okay? You have to go slow. But in all means and all matters, you have to go. Healing is excavation. Healing is what's needed to bring about your liberation. I had some notes, y'all. This represents Scorpio. This is death and rebirth energy. This is Piper, paying the piper. This is you being called to dig up what you buried. So you can stop walking over the hurt, walking over the pain. Because it was left up to y'all. Y'all will walk over it forever. But see, when women start holding you accountable, this is going to change. Because, let me see. Activation prompt. This is the journal prompt. What buried pain needs to be acknowledged? Black love keeps bleeding because of bone deep trauma in the masculine distorted energy. Okay, let's talk about the feminine distorted energy. Exhaustion. Didn't I tell y'all in that video that lady was like, I'm tired. Oh, she was so tired, baby. She was letting us have it. You see them women, they be crying, talking about what the men done did to them and how much they gave, and they gave. Honey, you ain't had no business giving like that, first of all. Let me just tell you that. That's where you need to take accountability and shut your mouth. And do your shadow work. This is a flesh realm card. This card number 14, but this is the card that's going to bring about the change needed. This is what women need to change. This is what men need, okay, to address in order to be balanced. But this is what's going to create the change that's going to bring about the push needed in a melanated community. Okay, that's going to bring about the momentum that's going to get you out of the stagnant, stuck energy. The change. Come on. What's the change? Where the deck at? Let me get these cards. Yeah. What when men face this bone deep trauma, they're gonna deal with the access lack. Okay, because they lack perspective, they lack impatience. They lack patience. I'm sorry, because they're very impatient. They be so quick to move on to the next person, and you ain't healed nothing. You ain't had time to sit with yourself and discuss things with you. You gonna move right on and hurt the next female. Yeah, you got to deal with the discord, and how you say it, and the antagonizing Nine of Swords energy, the sleepless, restless nights, the mental anguish, the psychological trauma, okay, and the self-indulgence. Yeah, but see, when you perfect this bone deep trauma, when you address it, harmony is here, tranquility is here for you, the union of the opposites is here for you. Okay, alchemy, peace. I was talking about the number 5 energy, and we all know that all the 5s and the tarot deck They ain't all that fun. But I'm finna show you what women deal with. Five of coins, five of cups. I need the five of swords and the five of wands. That song is in my head. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll sing it when I gotta find this card. Because Brandy, she's an Aquarius. And anybody knows love for an Aquarius. That's all I'm just going to look at you like this. Because honey, Aquarius deal with abandonment issues. Okay, I don't know where it is. I want to say, well, I'm missing the five of swords. Yeah. Aquarius deal with abandonment issues. And it keeps them... I don't know, and it feels like sometimes it's self-sabotage. Other times it's just when you're in your healed state and you are candid, fair, and you step into your inner strength, you become direct and you communicate what you want to your partner. It's still, it's some things still don't be right. You feel me? So speaking of this card, exhaustion. Now let me. Yeah, the distorted feminine energy. I was talking about the number 5 because the card is number 14, and it breaks down to the number 5, which represents change. So what the collective dealt with. Now, what the women dealt with was rejection, turmoil, 5 of coins, breakups, loss, change, some feeling alienated, dealing with financial ruin, harsh conditions, dealing with a lot of grief, just unwelcome change. You know what I mean? Emotional baggage, resisting change as well. 5 of cups. 5 of swords. Hostility, not really playing by the rules, dealing with defeat, self-sacrificing. That's what exhaustion really represents. Self-sacrificing. Plot twist, abusive energy. Personality clashes, 5 of wands. Conflicting thoughts, competition, arguing, chaos, misunderstanding, opposition, temper, and lost opportunity. This is exhaustion. All of that. So the core wound is sacred rest that's replaced by striving. Sacred rest that's replaced by striving. Spiritual bypassing. Still keep going anyway. I don't need to stop and rest or let this thing unfold on its own in divine timing. Okay? So the shadow message is you've glorified burnout and spiritualized overgiving. Glorifying burnout, spiritualizing overgiving. Your vessel is collapsing under the weight. This is why the woman was so just passionate. She was burnt out. She was burnt out because of how she spiritualized overgiving. She overgave. She was burnt out. So she collapsed under the weight of it all. But see, when you come to a halt, when you halt situations that ain't fitting in your position, that's you stepping into your righteousness. And it returns you to your rhythm. Because women represents the water, the flow of life. So here's an activation prompt. If you guys got your journals, ask yourself, what are you carrying that the Most High Mother and Father never assigned to you? What are you carrying that the Most High Mother and Father never assigned to you? And see, when you address that and you deal with the change, you face the change, you do the things that create the rest, the sacred rest, you begin to look ahead. You create positive changes for yourself. You rebuild. Okay, you deal with you deal with the acceptance of what is, and you don't try to settle for what is. Okay, you become ready to move on. You begin to let things go, and you begin to heal. 5 of Cups. Forgiveness. 5 of Cups. Accepting the change. 5 of Cups. Okay, the first one was 5 of Coins. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. You begin to get out of the woods. When you was left out of the cold, when you were left out in the cold, you go out into the woods. And everybody know, baby, when you go out into nature, you begin to do what? Ground yourself. Okay? 5 of Cups, overcoming despair. Change. Okay? 5 of Swords. You begin to shift the energy that brings about variety, that helps you to adapt. Okay, when you conquer self-doubt, when you deal with surprises, deal with the unexpected, you make amends. You make amends and you do things differently. It comes easy. Things become effortlessly. Things become done effortlessly. You embrace the change. 5 of Swords. Now the 5 of Wands in reverse is restored harmony. When you was doing all that arguing, baby, when this how you know your partner about to leave your ass, when they stop arguing with you. 5 of Wands in reverse. Because within themselves, they have restored their harmony. Like, I ain't got to keep saying the same thing twice to you. You about to lose me in a minute. You can be arguing with yourself. Okay? Because I found the common ground within me. And I'm starting to feel like this relationship ain't fitting in my position. Yep. So, the shared wound, what keeps these two opposites magnetized is final judgment. Final judgment. And the core wound to this is condemnation. You know, you live under false verdicts. It could be yours or others. And you treat guilt like identity. So let's talk about that. Let's finish reading this other. It says, mercy is your true sentence. Walk free. The activation prompt, the journal prompt is, what judgment can you release? Y'all know how you have the elders that used to say, well, a man gonna do this, and you just gotta sit through it. And no, baby, that is not my final verdict. That's yours, and I ain't sitting through shit. Okay, so because I need him to stand in his shit, take accountability for what he or she is or is not doing. You know what? Accountability isn't condemnation. Okay? Accountability is acknowledgement of your will, the way that you were passionate about living in a space that you created or that you've involved other people to come into. You understand what I'm saying? So once you release the final judgment, because this is what you're really holding on to, this is what causes you to settle. This is the shared wound. Men could think to themselves, okay, I ain't got to do this because she's known for holding it all together. This is self-assumption. This is rationalization that leaves the other person burdened. This is where men fail to realize that, look, she gonna be all right. I ain't got to step in. Okay, I'm gonna stay in avoidance. This is the shared wound. So we'll forever operating like this right here. We'll forever be in a reverse 10 of cups. Disconnected families. We'll forever be in misalliance. We'll forever have a false sense of security. We'll forever have inauthentic relationships. We'll forever be broken. But to get that storybook ending, we're having to face, like I said, acknowledge what was holding us together. And this is the final judgment, the belief system. Okay? Facing also the bone deep trauma in the men, which is why I created the deck called The Silent Cry of the Black Men. Okay, that's another deck that I'm working on. Well, it's already finished. I just had to do everything else on that, to lock it in. And then the exhaustion for the women. This is the distorted. This is what we're holding on to, this Taurus energy. Because anybody know a Taurus, baby? Needy, baby. They're not going to give you shit. Stubborn. Women, when you know you weren't supposed to overgive the way you overgive, but you overgave anyway. Men, you know that you need to deal. If you don't know now, you know, baby. Deal with your childhood trauma. Deal with the bone deep trauma. Some of y'all need to go. Y'all running from readings. You need to be running to them. Ask about your fourth house. Ask the reader to shine a light on what are you carrying this lifetime that's not yours. What was passed down to you through the bloodline? Look at the 12th house. Tell them to pull it. So y'all need to run. Run. Okay? Yeah. This is what you need to let go of. Because when you let go, you can when you surrender to being dependent. Because see, being in this Taurus energy, cause it got some of y'all looking lazy. And some of y'all are bullheaded when it comes down to these two energies, these three energies. Final judge, because this is the shared wound. But the bone deep trauma for the distorted man and the exhaustion for the distorted woman, you probably had people in your ear saying, look, don't do this or don't overgive, don't this and don't that. But you was bullheaded. You wanted to do what you wanted to do. And that's fine. Everybody got to live in their lives and learn their own lessons. But you can't not just keep playing the blame game, okay, and playing the victim. At some point, you got to take accountability for the shit that you've accepted and you've allowed and the things that you've done. Okay? So, letting go. Letting go of the exhaustion. Realizing that, look, sacred rest was replaced by striving. I was still trying to be productive while I was in burnout. Let it go by asking yourself, what am I carrying that the Most High Mother and Father never assigned for me to carry? Distorted feminine energy. And for the men, the distorted masculine. What buried pain needs to be acknowledged for you? Because you got pain that's stored in your bones. And it locked you up to where you're numb from probably the neck down. Don't feel nothing. You know what I'm saying? So let it go. Whatever you holding on to out. And we already determined that my spiritual team already said that the final judgment is the shared wound. Okay? Verdicts, false verdicts, whether they're yours or others. Okay? False verdicts. That's the shared wound. But exhaustion and bone deep trauma, baby, this is what y'all holding on to. And you've been called to let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Some of y'all are at a crossroads. And you know that where you are in life, especially in relationships, it ain't where you need to be. Y'all are making a judgment. Some of y'all are willing right now to choose wisely, but you know that it's going to put you in like the dilemma to pick and accept. Okay? The fact that you, my love, see yourself in the shadow. You see where you have the unhealthy ego, the greed, the selfishness, okay? The crave for control, the power. Come on, you see these two energies for real. Y'all see it. Y'all know it. This ain't no secret. We all know these two things. I know you know. But it's going to put you in a space where you got to go through the dark night of the soul. Where you're going to feel crazy. You're going to get the revelations. Okay, and this is where most people run. They stop right here because they don't want to face themselves. They want to stay in the spiritual bypassing. They want to be someone who doesn't really heal. But see, but when you want clarity and you want to come out and you want liberation and you want your ego self to die, baby, you're going to go through the dark night of the soul. You're going to go through the painful period. You're going to face the intense memories, okay, that kept you in your shadow self. That kept you in the shadow. Why black love keep bleeding? Shadow. Okay. Yeah, some of y'all are at the crossroads. Because you want to put an end to the cycle. Got the world card here. And like I said, when I was speaking about solitude, I think it was for the women. I don't know, but I was talking about how the Five of Pentacles left. Is it Five of Pentacles? I want to say, yeah, the Five of Pentacles left out in the cold, upright. Okay, just feeling left out. But when you start doing the work, you go out, and you'll be out of the woods, out in the woods. You know what I'm saying? It connects you to nature. So some of y'all are about to enter into the space where you center yourself, okay? And you start to recalculate. This is once you face your shadow, once you do your shadow work. You know, things, you know, you start seeing things from a new perspective, you know? And you start grounding yourself to reality, okay? And you walk in truth. And therefore, you have the passion that you need to love the way you want to love. But you have to go through the loss, the tower, okay? Creates this is the shocking, this is actually the Aquarius energy. Okay, that's what that them thunderbolts is Aquarius, baby. Tell your whole everything you thought you knew. That's Aquarius. You thought you knew. For some of y'all, you know, you going through this, it may lead to a divorce. You're going to deal with a loss. It's going to lead to upheaval, destruction. Trauma is going to be revealed on a whole other level, okay? Some of y'all going to feel like you in quicksand, okay? But you're going to endure the karmic storm. Some of y'all going to be in a space where you're going to be able to tell the person, look, I forgive you, you know. Or you're going to be able to walk away without even expecting the person to apologize who need to be apologized, because you're whole. You understand what I'm saying? So facing this is how you break the curse. This is how you deal with it, step by step. You know what I'm saying? This is how you come out of the rat race. This is how you deal with the unhealed issues. So what is the collective needing to burn and release? You can write these down and burn them. All blockages to my Akashic records and the activation of my DNA are destroyed in spirit and in flesh. All blockages to my Akashic records and the activation of my DNA are now destroyed in spirit and in flesh. You can write this down. I have 4 of them. All blockages, internal and external, death and rebirth, that prevents me from experiencing a healthy love life are destroyed in spirit and in flesh. And you guys, y'all can write these down on index paper, or you can speak it into an index paper and burn it into like your cauldron or a burning safe bowl. You can go do it outside or somewhere safe in the house. Make sure it's safe, and write these down and burn them. Again, all blockages, internal and external, that prevent me from experiencing a healthy love life are destroyed in spirit and in flesh. All thought conditioning and indoctrination that does not serve my highest good is now destroyed in spirit and in flesh. Now, this reminds me of that final judgment card. This is the condemnation energy. This is the false verdict. Okay, this is the belief. So it says again, all thought conditionings and indoctrinations that does not serve my highest good is now destroyed in spirit and in flesh. The last card. All self-limiting beliefs are cleared from my energy in spirit and in flesh. All self-limiting beliefs are cleared from my energy in spirit and in flesh. All right. I am Unconventional Jack. And this, sweet loves, is your message. Happy Love Week. And stick around because there's more to come. If you are interested in the Strongman Oracle Kit, I'm still working on it. I'm waiting on one more item. I'll talk about it. I'll do a separate video, but one thing I can say, baby, just be ready. 'Cause like I said, it's not a comfort deck. But that concludes the video. I'm out.